Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Journey to the Interior, a poem by Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood is a multi-talented personality. She is a Canadian writer, activist, educationer, and inventor. Her famous works are The Edible Woman, The Handmaid's Tale, Cat's Eye, which was the finalist for the Booker Prize, The Testaments, which is a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, and it also won the 2019 Booker Prize, and The Blind Assassin, which won the Booker Prize in 2000. As a critic, Atwood is best known for Survival, a thematic guide to Canadian literature. In 2004, Atwood invented the long pen. This is a device that allows for remote signing of documents with the use of an internet connected robotic hand. And this poem taps on the themes of inaccessibility and mystery of the human mind and self discovery. Throughout the poem, we find that Atwood describes the mind as a hilly landscape. And the best part is there is no access point. That is, you will not know in which route to go. Finally, when she understands the complexities of the minds, she warns her readers not to follow her path because it might cause someone to lose his or her mind. And she also notices the hills that seem flat as a wall, and these hills are welded together. And because they are welded together, she is not able to see what is behind the hills. And this causes a curiosity in her. She wants to discover what is on the other side of the hill. And when she goes near the hill actually moves and opens and shows her passage and lets her through. And after entering the passage, she finds herself in an endless region, like the long fields of North American prairies, where you can only see prairies or grasslands. You can only see this grass throughout and nothing else. And the trees that grow there are so slender because their roots are often in swamps. Now, these swamps actually symbolically portray a lack of creativity and negative emotion that lead to the underdevelopment of her poetic thoughts. And she describes her mind as a poor country. And when she goes further, she comes near a rough cliff. Actually, from far away, it seemed like a plain where she can walk through. But now, this is a cliff. That is, if she takes one more feet, she has to fall down. And due to this, she cannot go further. Now, this portrays the inaccessibility of the human mind, and she describes the difficulties along the journey. She says that a physical map with dotted lines on it will reveal the real world, and this map will guide a traveler through an unknown region. But for her mind, she does not have such a map, and therefore, she has to be very bold while traveling. She also has the faith in her instincts, and using this instinct, she moves through a tangle of branches and she journeys through her mind completely using only her senses. That is, she can feel the net of air and she can see the light and the dark interplay. That is, in some places, there is light, that is, in the darkness through the trees. She can find some light coming there, and all this helps her in a movement, in her navigation. In the physical world, we have maps which has already been explored, and they were all created long ago. And in spite of being created long ago, they were edited from time to time, and all the mistakes were rectified. Therefore, those who are using the maps, they can rely on the maps. But when it comes to the mind's map, it is impossible to say any specific routes because each and every one of us have different mental experiences. So for each and every one, we have a unique map. We cannot follow the other person's map for us. And suddenly she gives a glimpse of a home. Now here at home, she is sitting in a chair, but her shoes is among the brambles. Brambles means all these thorns, and these brambles are symbolic reference to attachment to reality. The reality is not allowing her to go further. And while she sets out for her journey, these brambles hold her back. And in her kitchen are lucent white mushrooms and a paring knife on the table. These items remind her of her day to day activities, which actually occupy most of her time and also her mind. And it starts to think a sentence of a new poem. It takes her to that imaginary world. There she visualizes a sentence as a sodden log that she passed yesterday. She was thinking about it yesterday, and maybe she gave it too much of thought that now it seems like a saturated log. And in the next part of the journey to the interior, Atwood asks whether she has been walking in circles again after thinking about the sentence she was engrossed with yesterday. Then she talks about the danger of visiting the mind's realm. Many have been there, that is, many have tried to reach the mind's realm, but only a few have managed to return safely. Firstly, no compass will work there. Even one cannot find the direction from the movement of the sun, because the sun also moves erratically in the mind, and they cannot hear any visitor because it is a vacant wilderness. Only they are there in their mind, and it is very dangerous to be there. Whatever she does there, she has to always keep her head strong. Only her mind, her strength, her inner strength can help her to move. And it is easier for anyone to lose direction in the alleyways of mind. And if one gets lost, there is no way out of it. The chances are higher to lose oneself than the physical landscapes which we generally travel. Now let's go to the poem. There are similarities I notice. She says, in my mind also, I find a lot of similarities. That the hills which the eyes make flat as a wall welded together. Now I can see the hills, but the hills are looking to me as though they are flat and as though they are all welded together like one wall. These hills open as I moved to let me through. Now I went near it, and when I went near the hill opened and allowed me to pass through. Became endless as prairies. Prairies are grasslands, and she says once I entered the hills, I could see only grasslands, nothing else. That the trees grow spinely, and even the trees which were grown they were very thin. Spinely means very thin. Have their roots often in swamps, and maybe because the roots are there in the swamps, that this is a poor country. So she says her mind is in a very poor state. Maybe she is not able to get into that poetic creativity, and maybe her everyday activities and the negative thoughts are pulling her down. That a cliff is not known as rough except by hand, and she says there is actually a cliff. We will not know unless we walk there, and is therefore inaccessible. See, it's a cliff. If you're going to take even 1 foot ahead, you're going to fall down. No one is going to try it. Therefore, it is inaccessible. That is, it is not reachable for anyone. Mostly the travel is not the easy going from point to point. See, those who all are trying to travel in their mind, it is not easy for them to travel. A dotted line on a map, location, because we don't have any location map. Each one's mind is very different. They only have to figure out how to travel, but the traveling is not accessible for all. Plotted on a square surface, but that I move surrounded by a tangle of branches. See, generally a map which we have in this world is something which is dotted as lines in a flat surface. But now in my mind, it's a tangle of branches. It's a network of branches. It's very difficult. A net of air and alternate light and dark at all times. That there are no destinations apart from this. But how I'm traveling is I'm using the air, the net of air from where the air is blowing, and the alternation of the light and dark. And there are no destinations where I can stay. Everything is far, far away. There are differences, of course, the lack of reliable charts. Of course, the main thing is we don't have a map. Charts here means maps. We don't have a map for our mind. More important, the distraction of small details. More than that, there are so many small details which can distract you from reaching your path. Your shoe among the brambles under the chair. Mainly, brambles means thorns. Your shoe is caught in these thorns which is under the chair. Now, chair means it is a house. Where it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. The shoes shouldn't be in the thorns. But I am in the thorns. That is, I am held back by my domestic house. Lucent white mushrooms and a paring knife on the kitchen table. She says, I have a lot of kitchen work. I have to do the cooking. Mushrooms are there, knife is there, and it is on the kitchen table. A sentence crossing my path, sodden as a fallen log. I'm sure I passed yesterday. Now, for my poem, I'm getting a sentence. And maybe I passed across a sodden log. And that was in my mind from the previous day, and that is what is forming a sentence for my poem. Have I been walking in circles again? Now she's asking question. Am I walking in circles? Now I entered into my mind path. I'm doubtful whether I'm walking around and around and around. But mostly the danger may have been here, but only some have returned safely. And she says many of us would have tried to travel in our mind, but only a few would have returned back safely. It's very difficult once you enter into your mind route to come back. And those who have tried, only a few would have come back safely. A compass is useless also trying to take directions from the movements of the sun, which are erratic. See, generally to know the direction we'll use a compass, but here the compass is useless, and even trying to find the direction using the sun is not very effective, because in our mind even the sun is erratic, that is, it's not correct. And words here are as pointless as calling in a vacant wilderness, and shouting out and asking whether anyone is there, whether anyone can guide you also is no use, because it's vacant. No one is there to help you. Whatever I do, I must keep my head. So, whatever I am doing, I should be the person who is deciding. So, I must use my head, meaning my intelligence, to decide what to do. I know it is easier for me to lose my way forever. I know what I am doing. Trying to find a path in my mind can make me even to lose myself forever than in other landscapes, than in the land. Because in land, we know someone will come to help us, guide us, or we have the map. But going into the mind, only you have to come back, and unless you are a strong person, unless you know what you are doing, it is very difficult to be safe. And here she ends the poem. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.